hope you're doing really well. It's your main man Anil coming live once again for Immunity for the Community podcast. How's everybody doing this weekend? I hope you're looking forward to a great Valentine's Day in a couple days. I'm sure some of you lovers are. But today I'm going to go through an amazing podcast on how you can break through the negative limiting beliefs, break that cycle of ecosystem of limiting beliefs to start manifesting losing weight. I'm going to be going through all of that in this program, in this episode, really honing in on how you can break those limiting beliefs, replace them with empowering beliefs, and ultimately reclaim the energy so that you now manifest the positive energy as part of the Write Your Own Transformational Story course. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I wasn't here last week was because I was out in London at a festival, and it was a great festival. Shout out to Sunny Secon, and I had a great time in London, so that I was on holiday last week, but I'm back on it today, and I just want to tell everybody this is going to be a very amazing podcast. This is going to add so much value to you. I'm going to serve you at the highest level today. So, as part of the Write Your Own Transformational Story course, I'm going to go through how you can break the negative cycle of limiting beliefs so that you can start manifesting losing weight. Now, what am I talking about? Well, what I'm talking about is the start of the process. At the start of the weight loss process, I actually have to sit down. I will sit down with you one-to-one to understand all of your limiting beliefs that you have about weight loss. Do you feel that it's pervasive? Do you feel that it's permanent? And do you feel that it's personal? These are three things that a lot of people feel. A lot of people feel that they will never lose the weight. That's the biggest limiting belief that I can tell you is totally not true. A lot of people think that it is pervasive. So they think this is just always going to keep on happening. They just think that this is luck. Their luck isn't on their side. This is what it is. And, no matter what they try, it will never happen. That is also another limiting belief that I can tell you that is not true. And the third one is that a lot of people think it's personal. So they think that because it's them, they can never lose weight and it's personal to them. So the weight is on them and it's personal and there's absolutely nothing that they can do. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, all three of those limiting beliefs are absolutely bogus because no weight can come on by itself. Weight took time to come onto you. And here's what I'm going to say. Weight takes time to be put on. So in other words, over time, it's taken a certain amount of eating unhealthy, not getting up on time, having poor energy, not going to the gym, not walking, not engaging your mind, not developing yourself over and over again, which has led to you being overweight. This wasn't an overnight process. Perhaps you weren't measuring it, and maybe this is why it's happened. But it can also be reversed with the right habits. Now that does mean that you are going to overcome the weight issue, but that means you're going to take it one step at a time. So weight is added on over time. It isn't added on all in one go. You might pig out tomorrow and you might gain 3 pounds, but you do not gain 100 pounds right away. I mean, if you were to gain 100 pounds right away, you have to eat a lot of food. So, you can understand this is a series of bad habits that has led to putting on weight. In terms of it being pervasive, and no matter what you do, it will never happen. You try your best, and it will never work out. That is not true, because the success formula is you keep trying, you keep overcoming, you keep trying again and again, you keep changing your approach until you find the winning formula. That's what the success formula is. There is no such thing as failures. Failure is you choosing to do nothing about it at all, is you giving up. Failure is not that you tried, it didn't work out that one time, and then you stop doing it. When you try and fail, when you try and it doesn't work out, you learn something. So you either win or you learn. And when you learn, you win. And when you keep learning, you keep winning. And that's the success cycle of weight loss. We're here to break that negative cycle that is stopping you from losing weight, that is ultimately not allowing you to make the right decisions so that you can manifest losing weight. And the third one, this is the most negative limiting belief that there is. People actually believe that the weight is personal to them. So they think that because the weight is on them, it's just to do with them. I can tell you that's absolutely not true either. A lot of people have identified with themselves being overweight, and I did this myself. So over time we get labeled, And so what happens is, over time, we label ourselves as certain things. Now, if we don't follow through on our goals, we start to label ourselves a procrastinator. And so what happens is, the one time that something doesn't happen, or you set a goal for a day and you don't follow through, you just say, you know what, I'm a procrastinator one time, and that's a small time. But if you keep doing this over and over again, and you do not set yourself the goals and follow through, you start to reinforce that negative limiting belief that you are a procrastinator, even though it is not true, because you've just told yourself that time and time again. And so what's happened is, over time, exponentially, you have believed that you are just overweight. So people might have called you overweight. They might have insulted you about your weight. And so over time, you've just said, I'm just overweight. That's what it is. And a lot of people have identified with that negative identity. And the reality of it is that just because you're physically overweight doesn't mean that you can't change mentally what you believe about yourself. Because once you change it mentally, then you start to act in the way that will change it physically. And here's what I'm talking about. So if you told yourself over and over again that you are overweight, you will keep on doing the same things over and over again to stay overweight, which is consistent with that identity and that limiting belief that you've put upon yourself. You might be 50 pounds overweight today, physically, but if you keep telling yourself, I'm overweight, this is what it is, I'm overweight and this is what it is, this is just who I am, you reinforce that's who you are. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to be 70 pounds overweight within a month, and another 10 pounds overweight another month, and that's going to keep on happening. Weight loss is the reverse of that. When you tell yourself the empowering story and you start to believe that empowering story, you act in the way that makes you lose the weight. So here's what we're going to do. Instead of telling yourself that, we're going to tell ourselves what our ideal target goal is to lose weight. So let's say right now you are 300 pounds and you want to get down to a weight of 175 pounds. You tell yourself, I am healthy, I'm fit, I'm strong, I'm 170 pounds, I'm 175 pounds in weight, I'm physically in shape, I'm healthy, I'm strong, I'm active, I go for walks, and I love myself. And I appreciate myself, I'm grateful for my health and my physical and mental well-being. When you tell yourself positive manifesting affirmations, you start to act on those positive affirmations. So here's what we're going to do. Think about your goal for weight loss. What is your ideal target weight loss that you want to achieve right now? Whereabouts are you in your weight loss? Are you currently weighing in at about 270 pounds? Okay, but which weight would you want to be? Let's say you want to be 170 pounds. So let's use this in practice. You being physically 270 pounds, I want you to close your eyes and tell yourself, I love myself. I am love. I'm 170 pounds in weight. I'm physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually strong. I'm fit and healthy. I lift weights every week. I go to the gym 3 times a week. I work with the coach Emil from Immunity for the Community. And I work on the Write Your Own Transformational Story course, because my new story is that I'm 170 pounds in weight and I'm physically, mentally, emotionally healthy. I love myself, I appreciate myself, I love that I'm physically and mentally strong, and I'm so grateful to have so many people who love me in my life. When you tell yourself that story, you start to act in the way that will get you to that goal, and I'll work with you one-to-one so that you stay consistent with that new story. And this is what it is. When you tell yourself the positive beliefs about yourself, you start to act in a way that is actually congruent with that positive belief. Now, this isn't just make-believe. This is where I'm going to put it into practice for you. Working with me one-to-one, I will show you the way of how you can use these mindset hacks to actually achieve the weight loss. Now, here's what we're going to do. When I started losing weight, I could not see where I was. I needed to actually put up a picture of somebody that I idolized. So I put up Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone. Now, where I was at 305 pounds, that was going to be very difficult straight away to achieve that goal of becoming that muscular and strong. But by putting that picture, that empowering picture of somebody who I wanted to be looking like, wanted to look exactly like that, I allowed myself to have a vision of what is possible. And I looked at my own body and said, this happened over time, but I can get to that over time. And so that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to say, let's work one to one, and let's put up a picture of somebody that you want to look like. You want to be in that physical shape. If you can't think of anybody, then at least then you can just think of how I've transformed. You can have a look at my physique, and you can say, okay, Neil was 305 pounds. He's now 175, 170 pounds, and he's muscular. He's 5'10". He's a medium build, and he boxes, and he's very in shape. I want to look like that. If you have that person that you look up to in terms of physically being in shape, that is the first target inside your mind. Your mind now stays consistent with that target, and if you hang that up in front of yourself every single day, you will take the action in order to achieve that goal. Now here's what we're talking about. Manifesting the positive, empowering beliefs about weight loss start out with that picture. Then it starts out with you telling yourself that you will go to the gym 3 times a week, that you eat healthy day upon day, and that your energy is increasing week upon week. And here's how we're going to talk about it in practice. When you're overweight from a lack of discipline. You're overweight from a lack of routine. You're overweight from a lack of personal development. So what does that mean? So you might clock into your job 9 to 5, but then after your 9 to 5, you're just kind of having a weekend where you do whatever, you get up at whatever time, and you just eat whatever you want. And there's no benefit to it because you're not holding yourself accountable. You're staying in the same exact place where you are because you're not able to physically change your energy. And this is disempowering. It's the negative cycle of limiting beliefs. Because what happens is you get used to that old pattern, you get used to those old behaviors, and you keep eating the same food at the same time, you keep eating the wrong foods, you keep eating out of portion. So that has an effect over time to diminish your energy levels. So the more food that you consume, the more energy your body actually requires to actually burn through that food, process it, and digest it. So in turn, that makes you even more tired, even more overweight, even more sleepy, even more deprived of energy, even more negative about this. And so that doesn't help you. But when you work with me on the Write Your Own Transformational Story course, I can show you the exact routine of how you can eat on time each day. And if you eat on time each day, even on your days where it is a weekend and you're not at work, I guarantee you'll start to lose weight. Because what will happen is when you're eating the right foods at the right time, your energy increases. Once your energy is increased, you can then work out. Once you work out with me, you're going to get even stronger. Once you keep working out week after week after week, you're going to get physically and mentally more stronger in your belief. Once that happens, your energy lifts up, and then you know what you've already done. You've got a sense of achievement from all of the positive stacking that you've already had in place. You have the positive sense of achievement from the fact that you've been disciplined. You have the positive sense of achievement because you're working with somebody who's been on that journey, who has social proof like myself. And then you have the positive impact of actually going to the gym 3 times a week and holding yourself accountable. Now, this is where I can come in and I can help you to overcome that limiting belief and that fear that you have about walking into the gym. A lot of people walk into the gym and they feel intimidated. They see other people, they see how physically fit they are, and then they don't want to do anything. That's where I can help you one-to-one. If you're finding that you are nervous about going into the gym, if you find that you are nervous about losing weight and you're not sure, work with me one-to-one. I can offer you virtual coaching on workouts. I can help you to go through the workouts for each day of the week. So we're doing 3 workouts a week on this course. We're doing Monday for chest and arms, we're doing Wednesday for back and shoulders, and we're doing Friday or Saturday for legs and lower body. And if you work with me virtually, this can help you to overcome that confidence block. Then we can work one-to-one physically in the gym and actually go in there and start working out together. Because what happens is when you have that person who's holding you accountable, you tend to do a lot better, a lot more. And so the empowering cycle of beliefs about weight loss starts to come into effect when you're on this course. Because once you've been on this course for a number of weeks, you're going to start to see the level of energy that you have increase. And naturally, you're going to have more time on your side. When you're overweight, what tends to happen is time slows down. And when time slows down, you slow down. So it's hard for you to remember things. It's hard for you to think of your goals for the day. It's hard for you to even think about reading a book. But as you work with me one-to-one, I will make it so smooth that you'll be able to read a book. You'll be able to go for your goals as well with increased energy outside of what your goals are here and now. To lose weight with somebody who's actually been on the journey, it is in my interest to help you to channel your inner Rocky, because I found my inner Rocky over and over and over again by doing everything that I've been doing, by eating physically healthy, by maintaining my discipline, by showing up to the gym 3 times a week even when I wasn't in the right state, and also working out 3 times a week and actually following through and maintaining the cycle of weighing in each week. I've weighed in this week. Let's get the book. So this is another important thing, weighing in, week out. So I weighed in this week, weighing in at 12 stone 10. Now I gained a pound on my holiday in London because I was having quite a great time. I had a 3-course meal at Sky Gardens, and I had a great time over there. Went to the Love Festival party with Sonny. Shout out to Sonny. But I'm going to be back on it this week. That's okay. So this is what we're telling you. This is what I'm telling you. The empowering cycle of losing weight is actually about recording and measuring what you're doing. Now this doesn't mean to say that you're just going to keep on writing it day after day after day. If you do this enough with me one-to-one, this is going to be in your nervous system, and I'll drop the link below to the Write Your Own Transformational Story course. At only £30 a month, you'll get an inclusive course that will go through mindset, that will go through, mindset, nutrition, working out, and putting it all together to go to your ideal vision of who you want to be, the body that you desire, because the body that you desire is already inside of you. I know how to bring it out of you. As somebody that's been on the journey over and over again and has overcome weight loss obstacles of 10 stone, I'm pretty sure that you'd be benefiting being on this course. And I can offer you a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you are not happy with the service, I'm more than happy to refund you. But I can guarantee you, you're going to get the highest level of service from a guy like myself, because Emil, Immunity for the Community, me, I have been through many journeys, many obstacles, and I can tell you that limiting beliefs are simply a belief that you think is true, which absolutely is not. It's not, because you only have to look at this. What separates a couch potato from an athlete? Here's the answer. A couch potato has ate junk food over and over and over again to where they can't move. An athlete has ate healthy and trained over and over again to the point where they're training at the highest level. They're boxing, they're swimming, they're doing all this. Now in practice, I'm just telling you the polar opposites. I'm not saying this to label anybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm just giving you a prime example. You are in a place where you are balancing empowering beliefs and limiting beliefs. Which one are you going to choose? Are you going to choose the empowering belief, or are you going to choose a limiting belief? The reality of it is we all have them. We all want to do our goals. We all want to go for our goals. We all wake up wanting more, becoming more, aiming for more. But sometimes that negative voice in your head starts to really kick in and starts to really make you doubt yourself. And doubt is the one thing that ruins people. Doubt and fear, the two things actually that ruin people. You know why? Because it just makes you think that you don't have the potential. It's not that you can't. It's just trying to stop you from the potential that is already there. Let me give you a prime example that can bring this into context for yourself, ladies and gentlemen, so that I can humble myself and show you how human I am. When I walked into the gym and I started boxing, I had doubts about that. Oh, what if I show up and my hands are down? What if I show up and I don't look good? And what if I don't hit hard? And what if I do it wrong? And what if somebody criticizes me? And what if I look weak? And what if I'm not strong? It was all limiting beliefs. You know why? Because it was all in the mind. Once I started watching videos of people boxing and how they actually box, I learnt the stance. Once I learnt the stance, I learnt the footwork. Once I learnt the footwork, I started throwing the jabs, hooks. Then once I learnt the jabs and hooks, I started going 1, 1, 2. And then after that, I started going around the bag. At first, I was going towards the bag in one direction and then coming back around. And then eventually, I got so good, I got so confident at it, shall I say, confident to do it, that I started going jab, jab, hook. And now I'm going to start working in combinations. But you see, if I allowed those limiting beliefs about I look no good doing it, I wouldn't be showing up to the gym boxing. And as a result of me actually having the courage and the balls to do this, my fellow colleagues, my fellow men, have actually walked up to me and shook my hand out of respect, because they can notice people who are brave. They can notice people who are pushing themselves out of their comfort zone. Ladies and gentlemen, there are two types of people in this world. There are those that build buildings, and there are those that tear buildings down. I can sense right now everybody watching this builds buildings. But let me tell you something. Don't be the shy person on the sidelines worried about the shy person who's criticizing the person who's actually trying on the sidelines. Because guess what? The shy person who shows up and tries does better than the guy who sits back and criticizes. Because guess what? Anybody can criticize. We all can. But it doesn't get you anything. It doesn't get you any kind of value. It doesn't get you any kind of success. And it doesn't actually help you. All it does is create a limiting belief. Once you can see that limiting belief is nonsense, it loses all of its power. Let me put this into context for you, ladies and gentlemen. If I cared what people thought, do you think I'd be 10 stone down? Exactly. Now it's time for you to care what you believe in. You are strong. You are amazing. You are enough. You are the inner Rocky inside of you. And I'm going to work with you one-to-one to pull out all of these negative limiting beliefs and replace them with empowering, strong beliefs about yourself. And you're going to act in the way that is consistent to those strong beliefs and create a strong identity of who you are. You're going to wake up one day, look in that mirror, and you're going to be as strong just like me. And you're going to be strong for you. Because my aim for this course, and the Write Your Own Transformational Story course, is that you transform into your inner Rocky, whoever that may be. Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, I don't care. Keanu Reeves, I don't care. Rocky Balboa, I don't care. Sylvester Stallone, it doesn't matter. John Wick, whoever the inner Rocky is for you, you're going to transform into the inner Rocky on this program. And we're going to break through all of that nonsense. Because guess what? That's all it is. Once you see it's the matrix and you break out of it, you're free. It's time for you to pick the right pill. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure serving you at the highest level. As I would say, everybody, channel your inner Rocky. Have an amazing weekend. Have a great Sunday. Bye now.